Good morning, my name's Elise, I'm owner of Florescence. I'm just going through a little vase arrangement to give you a few arranging tips for you to do at home. So what we've got here are a lovely mixture of flowers and foliage. We have got some incredible double oriental lilies. They smell just gorgeous. They are unusual, they're quite double. If you look at them, they've got an extra layer of petals inside. And they have no pollen, which is fantastic. So they've bred the pollen out of them, but they still smell incredible. And the other ones, they're all pale pink. You can't tell from the video perhaps, but they are very, very delicate pale pink. We've got some apricot lisianthus, beautiful, really ruffly and soft. Give a lovely kind of meadowy look with all the little buds, very pretty. And also the good thing about lilies is that one stem goes a long way because of the branchy structure. So you can break the stems up and make them go a bit further. We've got some alstroemeria, part of the lily family. Each little bud here is going to open up into a little bell. So they're like little mini lilies really, but they last weeks and weeks and weeks. Gorgeous. In fact, all these flowers last weeks and weeks and weeks. I've also got some, they're technically called brown lisianthus, but they're not really brown. They're kind of like a dirty purple colour. Really lovely. But people often mistake these for roses. They're so beautiful. So they're called lisianthus, but they're also known as eustoma. I've got some incredible Dorchester roses. Look at that, just stunning. So really pale, delicate, they're not scented sadly, but really delicate kind of peachy, blush pink kind of colour. And then we've got some chrysanthemum blooms. These are called Leonoth. They are just fabulous, great big, that's just fabulous, aren't they? They're huge. And they will last weeks and weeks and weeks. Great big flower heads. Foliage-wise, I've got some aspidistra leaves. I've got some Pittosporum ralphii, it's called. This is one of my favourites because if you look at it, it's two-tone. You've got the dark coloured leaves on the top, and then on the underside, it's kind of silvery colour. Beautiful. And they're really soft and kind of almost a bit velvety. We've also got a little bit of Eucalyptus cinerea. We've got some pistache. Lovely, messy, woodlandy, a little bit more of that. And I've also got a little bit of lilac statis, kind of rustly. It looks dried, but it's not. It sounds dried, but it's not. And then I've got some bleached soft ruscus. Now, when you add this to arrangement, it takes it to a whole new level. It adds just an exquisite kind of premium feel that is just beautiful. So just so lovely, and it's just gorgeous. So a really gentle palette of colours that we've got here, but as the alstroemeria start to open up, you've got the kind of deep kind of reddy burgundy colour, and you've got the depth of the technically brown but weirdly purple lisianthus. So as they open up, they're going to really add some depth of colour, but also they're going to lift the arrangement a little bit, because although it's a very, very elegant and soft, gorgeous palette, personally I think it needs a bit more colour, but it's about how you use the tones and play around with the tones to kind of help them encourage each other to kind of, what am I trying to say? The colours talk to each other, and when you add one colour to an arrangement that wasn't there before, or that is a slightly different tone to the others, then it becomes something else. It becomes, it steps through a new doorway of interest, if you like, and becomes a little bit more interesting. So anyway, let's crack on. Get yourself a nice vase, something with a top diameter of kind of 7 to 15 centimetres. The wider your diameter at the top, the more your flowers are going to fall to the edge, so you'll need a bit more stock to fill it in, or bushy stock. So you can kind of play around with that, but make sure it's nice and clean. Use a bit of bleach on your vase. It sounds strange, doesn't it? Bleach, flowers like bleach, weirdly, but flowers don't like bacteria, and that's what kills them quickly. So give it a good bleach, pop some flower food in there too if you've got some. So nice clean vase, fill it up with some water, and what we're going to start with is whatever has the branchiest structure. So what we're going to do is create a tangle of stems that are going to support one another, because if you put a single stem into a vase, it falls straight to the edge and it doesn't look very good. So you really need to make the flowers fit the container, and what we're going to do is arrange them so they support one another, and you'll get the best kind of style. So we're going to start with our messy, scruffy, branchy, tangly foliage first. I'm just going to snip a little bit off the bottom. So when you snip your stems, always snip at an angle, and the reason for that is because if you cut it flat, when you put it into the vase, it will stand flat on the glass at the bottom and it won't be able to drink. Whereas if you cut it at an angle, then there's more surface area for the actual stem to drink. So we'll pop that in. Have a think about, before you begin, the shape that you want to create. So is it going to be a front facing arrangement, or is it going to be all the way around? Are you going to put it like on a coffee table that people can walk all the way around? Or if it's going to be front facing against the wall, then you'll need to adjust the flowers kind of to suit that. If it's going to be an all-round arrangement, then you need to turn the vase as you go to make sure that you're creating a balanced design. Let's start with the foliage then. So you need to remove any lower leaves that are going to be beneath the waterline, because they will be the part that rots first, and the more they rot, then they'll create bacteria, and then that'll take the other flowers down with them. So to help everything last a bit longer, remove any lower leaves. Right, we're just going to snip that off. Okay, what shall we start with next? Let's put the lilies in first. Oh my goodness, I've just seen a great big spider on this rose. Put him in there. You probably like it in the bin where there's lots of other bugs to eat probably in there. Right, we're going to start with the lily. Now, what we want to do is create a kind of a balance. We're going to create a tapered shape. So coming out, because this vase is kind of that shape, I don't know if you can see there, we're going to make the flowers kind of come out and then go up, okay? So we're going to start. When you're cutting your stems, cut a little bit off to start with, and then you can always cut a bit more, but you can't add it back on. So cut a little bit off to start with. What we're going to do is start, so the lilies are sitting just at the top, so the open flowers are sitting just at the top of the vase, or at the bottom of the foliage, if that makes sense. So, right, a bit more. Yeah, I'd always be a bit kind of tentative in cutting your stems, do it bit by bit. Right, so now the next lily, where is he? There he is. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. Right, so remove the lower leaves. I'm going to put this one, although these lilies, because they've got buds at different heights, they're going to sit nicely at, if we put them in at the vase at the same height, then they would look okay. But if we put, say for example, the roses both at the same height, it won't look so good. So it's always best to stagger the heights of your flowers. However, with lilies, you don't necessarily have to do that because the buds are at different heights already, so it's been done for you. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put this over the other side. Now what we're going to do is create what someone recently said to me is called the plunk effect. I love this phrase. It's my new favourite phrase. So plunk, the game plunk, where you have lots of sticks all tangled up together like that, and it stops the ball dropping through. So we're going to create the plunk effect with the stems. So basically, the more we tangle them up, the more it will support the single stems that we put in. I'm going to reduce the length of that a little bit more. This is what happens. You put it in, you don't like where it goes, and you adjust it. I'm going to tangle it up with the foliage a bit more. Okay, so can you see these two lilies are at slightly different heights? This one's a bit lower than this one. And as the buds open, you need to allow space for those buds because they're going to, they go like that. So you need to allow a bit of space for those. Next, we're going to pop in big, lovely blooms. Now these, they're going to spread out a little bit more. The petals are going to open up a bit more, so we're going to need to leave them a bit of space as well. Always stand it next to your vase and think, where do I want the stem, where do I want the flower to sit? I think we'll put him about there. When we put other bits in, he will be a bit more supported. Then I'll start with this one. So again, I've got generally the rule of thumb with flowers, the traditional rule of thumb, I should correct, is that you always have odd numbers of stems. Rubbish, just ignore that. You don't need to just have odd numbers. If you stagger the heights of the flowers, it'll be fine. Yeah, that's a really old-fashioned concept and you can totally chuck it out the window as far as I'm concerned. Right, this one I'm going to pop up here because we've got these lilies here. That one's going to open up. We've got these buds that are going to open. So if I put this up here, it'll balance out. Yeah. Yes, actually, I'm going to put it this side because it will balance with these lilies here. Okay. Floristry is all about balance. Next, let's put in some of this lovely statice. So soft. So soft and rustly. I love it. Put some at the front, some at the top. I've been a florist for 17 years and running my own business for 12. So I know people say to me, "I make this looks easy." It really is only filling a vase of flowers. It's not that hard, but you know, it does take a bit of practice. All you've got to do really is look at your stems, look at how they're going to sit together, and try and create balance. Balance is the key to a good floral arrangement. Right, these lovely roses, I'm just going to take the outside petals off. Can you see? Here, it's a little bit discoloured. It's called the weather petal. I think they're lovely, these weather petals, because they had quite a nice natural feel, but a lot of people don't like them, so I'm going to remove them because then they make the rose look a little bit... Some people mistake them for like the rose being on its way out, but it's not. It's just part of the rose. Right, I'm going to put this towards just above these lilies. There we go, just above that lily. So there's space for these buds still to open. This one is moved. Your flowers will move as you arrange them, but that's totally normal. And then it's how you adjust it at the end. Right, the other rose, let's have a look at this. I'm going to put it up towards the top, I think. Remove any discoloured petals. I mean, roses do get bruised, so you can always remove any bruised petals too. Now, that is going to be a bit too high. You can see here, sorry, if I stand behind it, you can see it a bit better. I'm going to cut a little bit more off. Right, now the plunk stems are going to tangle it up nicely, so it should stand up. Yay! Can you see? Brilliant. Now this beautiful, beautiful foliage. You can kind of spread the stems out a little bit of it, little branches, a bit more of a chance to shine. Put this in here. Can you see that? It's just lovely. Oh, I love it. Now you can also look at your stems and think, can I get more uses out of them? So this one, it's quite long, but we've got a long bit of stem here. Can you see? With nothing growing. So what I'm going to do is snip it just above this stem. Can you see there? Oh, my scissors are so blunt. There we go. And that way I get two uses out of it. So the tall one I'm going to put towards the top, at the back, sorry. Again, make sure it's not at exactly the same height as this one. So if you can see here, oh, it needs a little bit off. Lovely. And then this one I will put towards the centre, just because it's so beautiful. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Right, the alstroemeria. Now this, when it opens up, when the buds open up, is going to lift everything. It's going to lift the colour, because it's a bit brighter, a bit richer. Whereas everything here is quite pale and soft, which is beautiful, and it looks very, very elegant, but this is just going to give it a little bit of life. So, I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle. I mean, alstroemeria technically are filler flowers. Yeah, they're not the premium varieties, but they are lovely. And they're very inexpensive and very, very long lasting. So, again, I'm not putting these at the same height. I'm going to stagger the height a little bit. In fact, I'm going to put them towards the bottom. Remove the lower leaves if they're going to go beneath the water line. Pop him in there. So when he opens up, he's just here. He's going to add a burst of colour here. There's a burst of colour there. I've got another couple of these, so I'll put one high up, I think, towards the back. Always cut a little bit off to start with. There we go. And then you can always cut a bit more off if you need to. Right, now this rose, he's a beautiful premium flower, but he's leaning towards the back, so I'm going to shift him now. Now there's more stems to support him, and put him a bit, so he's a bit more prominent, because he's premium. We want him to shine at the front. Sorry, I really shouldn't call flowers him. It's an ancient habit. Really time to stop being so sexist with the flowers. I don't even know why I do it, where I got it from. But it's lovely. Right, sorry, I was just doing the purple Lysianthus. I was just breaking the stem up because the stem is like that. You've got lots, we remove the leaves. Can you see here? You've got lots of stems growing off one stem. So break it up like that, and you'll make one stem go much, much further. It's a really, really important thing. That's what all florists do. Get as many uses out of one stem as you can. So I'm going to pop these in amongst throughout the arrangement, but so they're protruding a little bit so the buds come out, because the buds are so lovely. Can you see how it's kind of going like that? It's a front-facing arrangement. The back, I mean, if I was doing the back as well, I'd just twist it around and put some flowers around here and make sure that at every height, at every part of the arrangement, there's a staggered flower kind of zigzagging up the arrangement, if that makes sense. But so this is kind of going from the back here like that, but it's not neat and tidy. There's bits coming out. It's a bit more natural. It's a bit more soft. It's looking really lovely. And the depth of colour in the darker tones to complement the paler pastel tones, it's just beautiful. That lily's gone it's a little bit hidden. What we're going to do is cut that. Sometimes if you're looking at a stem and you think, I can't actually see that flower because there's another bit of it that's in the way, you can either twist it around, you can shift it, you can cut a leaf off if it's in its way, which I might do here, just because you want to be able to see that lily. He's so beautiful. Right, I'm going to pop this one here. Now these lilies, we've got to remember those buds are going to open. They're going to push other bits out of the way as they do, and the flowers will move as the week progresses. They will shift around in the vase very slowly. You know, you suddenly think, I didn't put that rose there, hang on a second. But you just got to shift it back. That's nature for you. It does what it wants. Right, this lovely pitto, which I love. I'll give you another close-up look. It's beautiful, little round leaves, and look on the underside. They're pale and soft, and it's kind of silvery on the underside. Oh, I just love them. Pittosporum Ralphii is its name. And again, this is a funny old shape. It's quite bushy here, but then you've got this long bit coming up there. If that offends you, you can snip it off if you want. Kind of sculpt it to your liking. I'm going to put him towards the back, just a bit, give a little bit more support to these stems that are leaning backwards. Let's put this apricot lizzie in now. Sometimes some of the heads don't look so nice. I'm going to chuck him. He's looking a little bit bruised and sad, but this one looks nice. Put them in here. Oh, he disappeared. There we go. Looking so lovely. Oh my goodness, I do love flowers. Right, and here, see there's a bit of a gap here. We've got this Alstramira, which is going to open up as well. We could twist him round actually. The big bloom's going to open a bit more. The rose is going to open a bit more. We've got some lovely eucalyptus cinerea, this beautiful silvery tone. Where should we pop him? I think we need a little bit. At the side, because it's nice and floppy and it gives quite a nice look. I quite like an asymmetrical design. Some people don't. Some people love symmetry. So I'm going to put them so they're both kind of here. You can make it asymmetrical but still balanced, because don't forget these lilies are going to open. So it will still look balanced. Can you see there? A little bit more status here, which I didn't see. Let's drop him in. Shove him. Sorry, don't shove any flowers. We don't shove the flowers, Elise. We'll pop this one in here. We're just getting these last little buds from the lizzies in, the Lysianthus. The buds are so pretty and they are so fresh. The colour is so fresh. Just gorgeous. Put one at the back. Using the plunk effect. Lovely. Right, so this is how you can fill your own vases and make them look professional. Right, last thing we have are some aspidistra leaves. Now you could just keep them as they are, put them at the back, put them at the side, it's totally up to you. I'm going to use the stapler. I'm going to roll them up and staple them. You could do them just like that, so you get this kind of nice loop. But I think it's nicer to have them rolled, so then you get a bit of a kind of a circular shape there, which I think always looks really lovely. I'm just going to put a couple of staples in, 3 for good measure. I'm going to snip that. I'm just going to actually give it a little bit of leaf shine to make it look super lovely. Now we've got the eucalyptus cinerea this side. I'm going to put this one this side, just so it comes out at the edge. I'm just going to frame that lily a little bit so you can't see it really. There you go. We've got another one here. And this one I'm not going to do the loop. I'm going to, you can adjust it to whether you want it like that. It's how big you need the stem actually. I'm going to put this a bit higher up, so I'm going to do a shorter bit. I'm going to fold it over, not quite as much as the other one, as the previous one. 3 staples, a little bit of leaf shine. A little bit of leaf shine goes a really long way when you have like tropical leaves and things. Snip the end off, and I'm going to put this towards the back. Okay, and there you have it, a really beautiful vase arrangement. I hope you like it. Now you can create something like this with supermarket flowers easily. Just make sure when you're choosing your flowers, have a look at the shapes, the textures, the sizes, the colours. Think about whether the blooms are going to open to be quite big or whether they're quite little. Tulips, if you're going to stick some tulips in, cut them very short because they will keep growing. Just enjoy it. Play around with it, have a go, and good luck. All right then, if you need to contact me, if you have any questions or any tips, or if you'd like me to do some flowers for any events, just give me a ring or drop me an email. The business is called Florescence and I'm sponsoring the Flower Festival. All right then, it's been lovely doing this for you. Thanks very much. Bye.